Hey, it's the 5 Count, the show that gives you the top 5 things that happened in the world of pro wrestling. I'm Cav Manning, I have a t-shirt that says so, and on with the countdown. The 5th most interesting thing, if you could even call it that, is Ambrose won a beat-the-clock match against Seth Rollins, and he got to choose his stipulation. Internet was buzzing. What would he pick? Of course we predicted. We said, of course he's going to have a ladder match for the Money in the Bank briefcase that he lost to Seth Rollins in the first place. He could get that briefcase back, end this whole feud. And he chooses a lumberjack match. Holy shit. The things you guys could have done, and WWE Creative says, let's have a lumberjack match. I guess the excuse is we both made enemies and now we all have people. So he puts himself in harm's way too? It's retarded. Well, congratulations on blowing that. Clocking in at number 4, guess who got fired this week? And they didn't even have the decency to say, we wish you well in your future endeavors. They're not happy with him. He's leaving at the end of this year anyway when his contract was up, but Del Rio got in a altercation in the back, slapping the piss out of somebody or some kind of nonsense like this, but he has a short fuse, as we know, when we saw him always wrestling Sin Cara and, stomping on his fingers when he dislocated them. So they said, you know what, let's cut our losses. We gotta, cut some money around this joint anyway. So Del Rio, we'll see you later. So bon voyage, Del Rio. You were very good and entertaining to watch, but much like Sheamus, it gets stale and boring anyway. Raw pumped up the whole Hulk Hogan birthday bash this week. He turned, 61? Jesus Christ. You know what's funny is he looks better than Hall and Nash do during this birthday thing. Hogan doesn't look like he's aged much because he's been bald since he was 20 years old anyway. So, happy birthday, Hogan. They had him come out there and Flair came out. Mr. Wonderful, who looks like Von Baron with that mustache from Punch-Out. Looks like hell. And like I said, Flair, NWO came out there. And then they had Brock Lesnar come out. And what could have been something so good, I thought he would clean house, knock everybody out, and then F5 Hogan, and then Cena come in and set up Summerslam. What happens? He punks out Piper, he stares at Hogan and stares at everybody, and then Cena comes out and says, back away. Another thing that could have been so great, but falls flat and nothing happened. Get you all excited, a woman rubbing you down and then goes, no, I don't want to fuck. Great, thanks. If you didn't know that Dixie was going to go through a table this week, you might be riding a short bus. They pretty much told you, they said it, it's happening. This episode, Dixie's going through a table. Please watch our show. We'll do anything. We'll tell you what's happening on our show so you watch. Dixie finally goes through a table and breaks something on herself. I guess she's got like bird bones. Buddy Ray nearly jumps over the table when he puts her through the table. His ass pretty much puts himself through a table. She lands on the mat and she squirms in misery afterwards because she's broken. But they finally did it. She goes through a table. Great crowd in New York, of course. But it just makes no sense why you would tell people, this is happening, this is happening. It doesn't make sense for TNA because nobody watches and this is the only way they could get anybody to watch. Summerslam is Sunday. It's kind of like the second WrestleMania. They do half the year and then the other half. So it's a bbig show. And I will give my predictions. I'm going to say Ambrose beats Rollins because Rollins has a briefcase and you could just keep losing because who cares until, you're going to cash it in anyway. AJ over Paige. This one is iffy. I wouldn't doubt if this belt actually goes back and forth a couple times. Miz over Ziggler. And if Ziggler by chance wins, it will not be for the belt. It'll be a bullshit punch to the balls or something like this. We will have Wyatt over Y2J in their best of 3 that will probably end up happening. Reigns over Orton. Reigns will not lose the rest of this year until he wins the world title and then eventually lose after winning the world title, of course. And then we have, which is the co-main event seems to be, Stephanie and Brie Bella. I'm saying Stephanie wins and I'm saying Nikki turns on Brie to keep a feud continued. And the real main event is Brock destroying Cena for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. And we will have a new belt the next day, which is interesting even though we've seen the belt and it still looks like shit. Good job, WWE, you finally had a way to get away from that belt, even though you just made it, and you shit the bed again. Thank you very much. The question is, will Cena take time off since Paul is saying it's his last match ever and all that? So does Cena get beat up enough to take some time off and refresh and have a vacation, for Christ's sake, after 12 years, other than when he's injured? Go away, refresh, and have people actually give a shit when he comes back. Overload time. That's your top 5, like any of you give a shit. I've been Cav Manning. Go to the5count.com. Check out all our nonsense. Also, go to iTunes and check out Lingus Mafia. That's all you gotta do. You gotta search Lingus Mafia in the podcast section. That's where you're gonna find it. You like podcasts? You'll like hearing a lot of nonsense from me and old Fausty Walnuts. Type in Lingus Mafia. Hear everything that happened in the world of wrestling, plus plenty of other nonsense. So, that's it. That's the show. We'll talk to you next time, and we'll see you next Tuesday.
It's the 5 count. The 5 count.
Chill.
I'm Cav Manning.
I'm Fausty Walnuts.
This is all purely speculation.
Chill.